Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream number 168. I hope everyone's doing well. And remember, today is the early and short version of the coffee stream. We're only going for an hour today from now till 12:30. I hope everyone's having, like I said, a great morning. We've got a few good stories for you today, including a story about Trudeau and a very interesting bill he wants to pass before he loses his spot as prime minister in the fall. So we're going to read about that. So before we get into the news, let's say hi to chat like we always do. All you need is here. Good morning, all you need. Green Thunder is also here. Good morning. Calvic AD is here too. Let's see, who else is here? Who else is here? We have Mr. Misanthropic is also here. Good morning, Mr. Misanthropic. Hope you're doing well this morning. So while we wait for people to trickle on in, let's just open up Safari here and get into the Twitter. To the Twitter, as V would say. I can't do a V as well as Pincalo can, though. So, for anyone interested, I am actually doing better with my back today. Every day it's getting better. It's just the beds at the cottage that throws it into a bad loop. What happens is I get this vice grip feeling on my spine, at the base of my spine, and it causes all the muscles around my spine to seize because of the pain. So every so often I get these blocks of days where the pain in my spine gets so bad that my back muscles just seize up. So it's always fun. Hello there, Pincalo. This is helping me not die while I'm on the treadmill. Oh, well, I'm glad I could keep you company while you work out there, sir. So Pincalo has sent me a couple of stories, but I'm gonna read. I think I've only got two for here, so I'm gonna read. This time I'm gonna get my stories out of the way, and then we'll get into the article about Trudeau that Pincalo has sent me because it's a good one. Let's see here. The first article I have. This is an interesting one that kind of sounds ghoulish. Euthanasia by organ donation. Should we allow doctors to retrieve organs while people are still alive? What a weird question. Puts me in mind of that scene from The Meaning of Life, Monty Python's The Meaning of Life. Can we have your liver then? But I'm using it. This doesn't really sound like a thing that's happening. The lungs, so this is the secondary headline. The long-standing dead donor rule requires that organ donors be declared dead before any organ retrieval. Makes sense to me. I think the only live organ donation that can take place is a kidney transplant. I think. That sounds right. So let's read about this author's idea.
3 years after assisted death became legal in Canada, the medical community is debating a provocative question. Should organs be removed from consenting euthanasia patients while they're still alive? Play.
Oh. Why would you remove organs from consenting euthanasia? If they've consented to be euthanized for like assisted suicide reasons, you can also donate parts of your lungs, says all you need. Okay.
Pause.
Shut up. I'm trying to talk here. So, but why would you harvest? Like, why couldn't you just wait until the consenting euthanasia patient? What is a patient, blind press? Good Lord. Euthanasia patient is what I am attempting to vocalize.
Play.
Oh my God, stop that video. There's a video with this article and it wants me to play it. So, but seriously, why would you want
Pause.
to harvest organs from even a consenting patient? Like, why can't you just wait till the euthanasia is over? I don't. Now you can do most of now any day or now these days you can do most organs in a live transplant.
Play.
It's just that most donors are dead for most of them. That's a fair point. I am an organ donor, so I can haunt people from within when I die. Love that, Kelvic. Okay, so
Some say changing the rules would allow people choosing an assisted death to donate as many organs as possible, in the most optimal condition possible, because blood and oxygen would continue to flow through vital organs until the moment of retrieval. Pause.
yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Under this scenario, people granted an assisted death would, with their full knowledge and consent, be transported to an operating room, put to sleep under general anesthesia and their organs removed, including the heart and lungs. Death would follow removal of a beating heart. Under so-called euthanasia by organ donation, the act of organ donation itself, not a lethal injection or a doctor-prescribed, life-ending dose of barbiturates, would be the mode of death.
I don't see. I don't know. This may be very morbid and gory of me, but I don't see a problem with this. I don't. If there is a mentally competent person, from a medical standpoint, harvesting live organs stresses the more organs less, says Zombie Teddy. That's a good point. They're trying to legalize the organ harvesting methods they're using in China. This is insane. Um this is what every body kidnapping horror movie is about, waking up in a bathtub of ice. Yeah, Pinkalo, I can see where you're coming from, but also if you're a consenting, mentally competent adult who is choosing to be euthanized, say because you're sick or something, what like why not donate your body to science? I know it's gory, I know, but if it's something that you choose, shouldn't that be your choice? Blind, you let the French take over for a second. Les passions. Yes. Yeah, Mr. Misanthropic says, as long as the donor agrees, I see no problem with this. Yeah. I don't think, like, I'm not at all advocating for, kidnapping people and harvesting their organs against their will. But if you wish to be euthanized and you also wish to, say, donate your body to science or to be an organ donor, why not allow euthanasia by organ donation? No, says Pincalo, this leaves open a very big loophole for black market harvesters. I see, and I guess I can see both sides of this argument because I can see exactly where Pincalo is coming from and the fact that this can leave open a huge loophole for black market organ harvesters. Um, but also I can see the consenting, like if you want to die and you want to donate your organs and like that and you want to choose to die this way, you're going to be put to sleep anyways. Um like I said, I can see both sides of this argument. It can be very dangerous to legalize this because like Pincalo said, waking up in a bathtub of ice. But also it can provide a lot more healthy organs for a lot of needy organ transplant recipients. So let's read on here.
Organ donation after euthanasia is already occurring, legally, in Canada. About 30 people who have died by medical assistance in dying, or MAID, since the law decriminalizing the act was passed in 2016 have consented to donate kidneys or other organs. In Ontario, 168 more have donated tissues such as corneas, skin, veins, tendons and ligaments, tissues that don't require the same conditions as organs to survive and can be taken up to 24 hours after death. Play.
Okay. That's interesting.
Pause. However, under the long-standing dead donor rule, organs can't be procured until donors are declared dead, typically 5 minutes after the heart has stopped beating, and the organ retrieval itself can't lead to the death of the donor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what the law is right now.
The rule is intended to maintain a firewall between the team removing a person from life support and determining death, and the transplant surgeons waiting to retrieve precious, desperately needed organs.
Yeah.
In such cases, it may be ethically preferable to procure the patient's organs in the same way that organs are procured from brain-dead patients.
Okay.
Semicolon. Link. Share.pa link. However, a Western University doctor and Harvard Medical School bioethicist and pediatrician argue that firewall may be less important when it comes to people choosing to die by euthanasia.
See, and that's my argument.
Although some patients may want to be sure that organ procurement won't begin before they are declared dead, others may want not only a rapid, peaceful and painless death, but also the option of donating as many organs as possible and in the best condition possible.
Yeah. That's the argument I'm making. Now, I do see that Pincalo's point, though, about the loophole that black market organ transplant or that black market organ thieves uh, would would happen or would occur. But what the article just said is what I'm arguing. Let's see. What organs is also important too, says Zombie Teddy. Some organs can't be transplanted if someone is dying in a certain way. Oh, that's true. There are too few mentally competent adults now, says Rolling Bear. Good point. The thing is that by allowing this, it will drop the monetary cost and the black market will lose the monetary incentive to keep stealing organs. That's a point I didn't think of. Oh, Pincalo is saying, and what about when doctors start euthanizing and harvesting healthy patients that haven't really consented, but suddenly a consent form exists? That's one of the loopholes I'm talking about. That's a good point. Hi, Addie. Let's see. Black market organ harvesting will happen anyway, says Mr. Misanthropic. True. Why does Trudeau want to bring Article 13 to North America, says RJ. Well, we'll read about that in a few minutes. It'll cut down back on the time people will have to wait for an organ. Yeah. We really need to start 3D printing organs. That solves everything, says Ceratomanton. Oh, that's funny.
Link. Following the dead link. They wrote in the New England Journal of Medicine. Following the dead donor rule could interfere with the ability of these patients to achieve their goals. In such cases, it may be ethically preferable to procure the patient's organs in the same way that organs are procured from brain-dead patients, with the use of general anesthesia to ensure the patient's comfort. You are currently... So
this is how they harvest. I didn't know that they already harvested organs like this from brain-dead patients. So if this is just an extension of that rule, and if there is like ridiculous amounts of regulation involved, I don't know.
Doing so would require an amendment to the Criminal Code of Canada, the author's note, which states that medical assistance in dying must involve the administration of medications or a substance, not organ extraction.
Yeah, that's true. That would need an amendment to the euthanasia law.
Because voluntary euthanasia creates organ donation opportunities that differ from existing pathways, they wrote, it may be necessary to develop new protocols specific to these patients. Play.
Yeah.
Dr. Ian Ball, chair of critical care research at Western University and lead author of a paper in the New England Journal of Medicine that asks whether the law should be changed to allow doctors to retrieve organs from people seeking a doctor-assisted death before they have actually died, courtesy of Western University, figure. Slug, Dr. Ian Ball, end of. The idea provokes a visceral kind of horror for some. Death by donation would, at present, be considered homicide to end a life by taking organs. Dr. Wesley Ely, a professor of medicine at Vanderbilt University School of Medicine, wrote in USA Today.
Yes, it would. It would be considered a homicide. It would be it is a very abhorrent idea to some.
Amazon.com.
Why is Amazon fucking loading
Website
again?
not secure.
Fuck off. Piece of crap. Why does Amazon do this to me? Anyway. I'm trying to find where I lost. There we go. I've found the place where I was. Okay.
But others see logic in the suggestion, especially as the very definition of death is being challenged. Some argue organs are already being recovered from people who have been defined as irreversibly dead, only because we have chosen not to resuscitate them.
That's true.
Historically, most transplant organs were taken from people declared brain dead. More recently, Canada and other countries have embraced donation after circulatory death, or the CD. These cases usually involve people on life support with such a bleak prognosis their family decides they would rather be dead. Life support is withdrawn and, once the heart stops beating, and after a 5-minute hands-off period, long enough to be satisfied the heart won't spontaneously restart on its own, organ procurement can begin.
That's true.
However, death can take up to 2 to 3 hours. Organs like the heart and lungs rapidly deteriorate from lack of blood flow and oxygen.
Yep. Oxygen is key to keeping organs. Hi, nothing for you here. Of keeping organs healthy. Don't steal organs, kids. Yeah. Blind press, you won't have to worry about doctors stealing your, or you won't have to worry about people stealing your organs. Or doctors stealing your organs if all your organs are shot. That's my master plan. Good plan, Mr. Misanthropic. Good plan. It's not that easy to transplant organs. There's hundreds of factors at stake. the person's body receiving the organ may reject it. Absolutely.
Frame. Euthanasia by
I
organ
think that's
donation
the end of
should
the
be allowed
article. Here,
to retrieve people's organs.
let me attempt to. Let me see here. Let me find. Oh, Ninja, hush. All right, here we go. There's still more.
Currently, patients who wish to donate their organs are treated like DCD donors. The difference is that doctors inject drugs to suppress their breathing. The heart typically stops within 2 to 3 minutes, but not always. You aren't doing any harm. The patient is dying. The patient is going to die.
That's true.
Semicolon. Link, tweet. Dr. Ian Ball, chair of critical care within 2 minutes of the one involved a person with a severe spinal. Dr. Ian Ball, chair of critical care research at Western University and lead author of the New England Journal of Medicine paper, is about to publish a cases series on the first 30 cases in Canada. One involved a person with a severe spinal cord injury. The patient was taken to just outside an operating room, where surgeons waited to retrieve the organs. An arterial line was inserted to measure blood pressure. Within 2 minutes of the lethal injection, doctors couldn't hear any breath sounds with a stethoscope. They couldn't feel a pulse. The patient had clearly stopped breathing and looked dead, but the arterial line read a blood pressure of 12/8 millimeters of mercury, which, said Wall, is completely incompatible with life. You aren't getting enough blood flow to your brain to have any awareness.
Okay.
However, under the strictures of the dead donor rule, the surgeons would have found it completely unacceptable for the doctors to transfer that patient into the operating room with a blood pressure of 12/8, Ball said, because, as far as they are concerned, they're still alive, so they can't start retrieving organs yet.
Oh, wow. Okay. So even at 12/8, they're still considered alive. Wow. Who'd want my brain? Most of my organs have problems anyway, so they can have whatever's usable when I pass, says Green Thunder. Yeah, that's a good point.
It took 16 minutes for the blood pressure to finally hit 0. Doctors then had to wait the obligatory 5 minutes longer before declaring the person dead, meaning the organs were deprived of blood flow and oxygen for a total of 21 minutes.
Oof.
You are currently. The family is looking at the doctors and saying, this doesn't make any sense. They wanted to die. They're going to die. They look dead. They want to donate their organs. Why are you waiting 21 minutes and damaging these organs? Ball said.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. And that's what I'm trying to argue.
The dead donor rule isn't a law, but more an ethical convention, said Paul. It's being questioned more, especially in the advent of assisted dying. Prior to MAID, it was absolutely unacceptable for physicians to intentionally and directly cause the death of a patient, he said.
Now, MAIT is the law, the euthanized law, I believe.
The extreme perspective, and I'm not taking this, I'm not advocating for this, and it's certainly against current MAID legislation, but some people do, is that, in the case of MAID, why wouldn't you go to the operating room, get a general anesthetic, and why couldn't they retrieve your beating heart? Because that would provide your heart in the best possible condition to a recipient. You are current. Euthanasia by organ donation would shorten the ischemic time, the elapsed time without blood flow to the organs, to essentially 0, said Dr. Michael Shapiro, professor of general surgery at New Jersey Medical School / Rutgers.
This is a very interesting argument. This is a really interesting argument, actually, because functional is here. Hello, functional. Good morrow to you. Let's see.
Doctors should fulfill a patient's wishes to the extent they can, said Shapiro, author of a paper on euthanasia by organ donation published in the Dalhousie Law Journal. And so, if the patient says, I want 2 things, I want to have a good death, I want to die peacefully, I don't want to suffer, we can do that. And then if the patient also says, I'd also like to be an organ donor, well, if you said to me, what is the optimal way to accomplish both of those things? It's to put the patient to sleep so they won't have any discomfort, and there won't be air hunger, there won't be any anxiety or fear, and then take their organs out.
That's the best way to quote, do no harm, if you think about it.
You aren't doing any harm. The patient is dying. The patient is going to die, Shapiro said. You are never taking a patient who would have lived a normal life and killing them. What about the fear of waking up while the organs are being harvested? If I was taking your appendix out and I was obtaining your consent for the operation, you would say, how do I know I'm not going to wake up in the middle of the operation? It's a fear many people have. You are currently on it, and the answer is, I have a really good anesthesiologist. We're going to monitor your brain function because we have devices that tell us how asleep you are, so we can assure that you will be completely insensate, that you won't wake up, that you won't feel a thing, and you would do the same thing in the mate situation. Still, the idea of euthanasia via organ donation would be profoundly unsettling to many, said bioethicist Jennifer Chandler, who holds the Bertram Loeb Chair in Organ and Tissue Donation at the University of Ottawa.
It is true. It would be unsettling to think about, even me, who says that, I can see why this would be a good thing, is sitting here thinking about, the possibility, and yeah, it's disturbing. But why, if somebody is, wants to be killed and wants to be euthanized, and they want to also donate organs, why would you waste those organs by depriving them of oxygen?
It is a legitimate question in a society that has said it's okay to bring about death, euthanasia. Why does it matter to bring it about one way versus the other? Maybe there is some segment of the public that would not be horrified by the idea that, if I'm going to die anyway, and I want to donate, I want to save a bunch of people, should that not be permissible? Chandler said.
Yeah.
But I think there is going to be a huge proportion of the public that would be very uncomfortable with this. It conjures up very unpleasant imagery, and I think there would be a grave risk to public trust.
That's a good point. And I think that's what Pincalo was saying too, was that this is, like he was saying, black market, loopholes for the black market, but also it could conjure up, like he also said, the trust factor, like a fake consent form, and all of a sudden, grandma's dead and her organs are, in somebody else's body, and she um had no consent to do so. So that's something that's very, a valid concern. Um, so I can, like I said, I can see both arguments here. So yeah, I can. This is a very interesting article. A good a good brain a good brain scratcher, if you ask me. A good head scratcher. All right. And then that's the end of that article. So here's the other article I have here. Let's see here. Okay, here's the one from Gunfox. We're watching. Locals concerned after migrants arrive at Murrieta Border Control Facility. Okay, let's let this load up here. Close that notification. Okay. So this is from Monday, but it's still an interesting article here. So this is from CBS LA. This article.
Frame. Murrieta, CBS LA. An unknown number of migrants were recently flown into Murrieta's Border Patrol facility, and some in the community were quick to stand in front of the gates to let them know they're not welcome to stay. Murrieta resident Bob Cal says he's all for legal immigration but told CBS LA's Nicole Comstock that a source informed him of 100 undocumented immigrants being flown in from the Texas border to San Diego, then bused to Murrieta over the weekend to be processed. You are currently on.
A source told him, eh? Was it a source familiar with the matter?
Advertising. We can be called, he said that a source, we can be called a racist and we'll just smile, because we don't care, said Cowell. We're watching to see where and when they'll move. He said that a source told him that the migrants will eventually be dropped off at strip malls and bus stations throughout the valley. The Murrieta Police Department, however, said that is not true. According to the Murrieta Police Department, our chief Sean Hatton contacted the commander of the Border Patrol Station in Murrieta and was assured from him that there was not going to be any immigrants released from the Murrieta Border Patrol Station. Captain Rob Firm said the police department wanted to set the record straight right away because of the heated protests that happened here the last time migrants came for processing in 2014. We had 1,000 people here probably and the buses were stopped by the people, said Cowell.
2014? Gee, that was when Obama was president. It's almost as if Trump does not mean that Trump's presence in the White House does not make everybody a racist piece of crap. It's almost as though this was happening before he was elected. Isn't that a shock, ladies and gentlemen? Imagine that. I heard migrants and walls. Comstock. Comstock, honey. Not cuntstock, Comstock. My nose, says irate prostate. Let's see. Maybe I've just watched Repo Man too many times. That movie terrifies you about that shit. You did make it irate, yes. Let's see. My mind has been blown, says Mr. Misanthropic. Orange Man doesn't mean everybody's a Nazi? You mean CNN lied? Imagine my shock. Yeah, I know, right? News broken right here on the coffee stream. CNN is full of lies.
Officials estimate more than 500,000 migrants seeking asylum have been apprehended at the border in the first 5 months this year.
Good Lord.
Link, image. Link,
oh,
image.
And that's the end of that story.
You are currently on.
Because there's all sorts of sharing options. So that's the end of that little story. Are we ready for the messages from Pink Hollow? Let's read about Trudeau and his wonderful bill, shall we? Let's read on about Trudeau. Trudeau warns of meaningful financial costs Trudeau warns of meaningful financial consequences for social media giants who don't combat hate speech. You heard that right. So this is what he said during the speech in Paris, France, on the tech conference that he was. Oh, Pink Hollow just sent me another link. All right. Here we go.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau delivers a speech at the Viva Technology Conference in Paris, Thursday, May 16, 2009. End of Canadian link. Read comments. A new digital charter will dictate how the country will combat hate speech, misinformation and online electoral interference in Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told a technology conference in Paris on Thursday.
Electoral interference. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
Trudeau made the announcement at the Viva Tech Conference, an international summit that brings together startups and technology leaders. Your current advertisement. The announcement was short on details, which Trudeau says will be revealed in various announcements over the coming weeks, but he warned there will be hefty penalties for social media companies that don't clamp down. You are currently.
Of course.
The platforms are failing their users and they're failing our citizens, he said. They have to step up in a major way to counter disinformation, and if they don't, we will hold them to account and there will be meaningful financial consequences.
Disinformation. Who are you to decide what's disinformation? Seriously, who are you to decide what is disinformation? I'm embarrassed for Canada because of Trudeau, says Mr. Misanthropic. So am I. This is why I'm more partial to minefields than walls. Oh. I was telling V during his premiere today that this seems more like information suppression than anything else. Yes. Trudeau isn't even trying to pretend that he's not a psycho-authoritarian. Yep, absolutely right.
Notably, Innovation Minister Navdeep Bains is expected to talk about the initiative at a summit on digital governance in Ottawa in late May. List one item. End of list one item. The Prime Minister said he's confident the proposed framework will restore the faith of citizens while holding platforms accountable.
Restore the faith of citizens in who? You? Whose faith are what? Restore faith in who or what? In social media platforms? Oh, wow. Harper muzzled scientists. Trudeau muzzles citizens. Yep. You know, anything regarding SNC Lavalin. Yep.
Social media and combating online extremism were at the top of the agenda as Trudeau winds down his 2-day trip to France.
Winds down voiceover.
In addition to a working lunch with French President Emmanuel Macron, Trudeau met with New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern earlier Thursday in a bilateral meeting. You are currently on a heading level 2. Ardern said it was one thing to offer condolences following the Christchurch mosque attacks that left 51 dead, but it was quite another to put those words into action as Canada has done in signing on to the Christchurch Call, a pledge involving several world leaders and internet giants to stop the spread of hate online.
Oh my God. Guys, why are you doing exactly what he wanted you to do? Jesus Christ. Hello, Green Badger Outdoors. Oh. Here, let's do exactly what that stupid piece of crap in New Zealand wanted us to do. And start censoring everybody. That sounds brilliant.
Trudeau said the massacre must be a catalyst for change. You are currently.
Oh God, you virtue signaling piece of crap.
When 51 people were gunned down at a mosque in New Zealand and the attacker streamed it live, it wasn't a wake-up call. It was the last straw for government leaders, companies, and for citizens around the world.
It's not the internet's fault he streamed it live. It's his fault, you dumbass. It's not GoPro's fault that was the brand of camera he used. It's not Facebook's fault that that's the platform he chose to stream it on. It's his fault because he's a psycho, attention-seeking piece of shit. Why are they doing what he wanted? Because they are idiots who can't comprehend that they are the problem, says Mr. Misanthropic. Yeah. Stop the spread of hate. It's code for let us ban the people we hate. It's a kind of morbid irony, if you ask me. Nothing for you here. That is a very accurate statement. Green Badger Outdoors says it's because it's politically convenient. Yep.
At the end of the summit, Facebook, Google, Twitter, and other technology giants pledged to step up their efforts to prevent their platforms from being used to spread hatred, help extremist groups organize and broadcast attacks.
Here, let's make stuff that people are saying taboo and interesting instead of letting the light of day shine a harsh reality on both the good and the stupid things that are being said. So RJ says if Trudeau wants to bring Article 13 here, then he needs to be voted out. Oh, he will be. But he's trying to do this before the election happens. Bad ideals will die in the light. By censoring extremism, you're taking those ideals and making them wait. Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, by taking those bad ideas, you're forcing them into darkness, but they will never die. Yep. I've been wanting to make a video about this for a long time. Do you think enough time has passed that people are willing to have an honest conversation about it now? I don't know, Mr. Misanthropic. I honestly, I really don't know. It's a hard question to answer because remember, if Justin Trudeau loses, it's because of Russia. Yeah, exactly.
Trudeau and Ardern discussed online violence and extremism in their respective countries, but also broached trade and security commitments around the world.
Of course they did.
Following a bilateral meeting and working lunch, Trudeau and Macron spoke to reporters briefly outside the presidential Élysée Palace. List one item, bullet, and list one item, end of the two leaders discussed ensuring that the web giants and tech companies take more responsibility for their social and community impacts, including against hatred and violence, Trudeau said.
Okay, yeah, of course. Hold the platforms responsible for they've become public platforms now. This is like, do you remember when you used to have speakers corners and stuff like that in town squares? That would be like holding speakers corner of responsible for what someone said at speakers corner. That's fucking stupid. This is absolutely a nanny state move. Absolutely. The NZ shooting will be used as a political device as long as it's wait, as long as it's wait. Oh, as long as it's expedient to do so. Yes. Hear ye, hear ye. Yes, exactly. Hear ye, hear
He
ye.
repeated that he was heartbroken during the visit to the fire-ravaged Notre Dame Cathedral, but was inspired by the work and courage of Paris firefighters who were able to salvage much of the building.
Of course, you gotta throw in the Notre Dame stuff. Got a virtue signal. Is that everything? Is that the only thing you know how to do? Is just virtue signal?
He repeated a pledge Wednesday to offer any support needed in the rebuilding of the landmark church, one day after he announced Canada's pledge to offer steel and softwood lumber, 50% loaded. The Prime Minister was to meet Wikipedia founder Ginny Wales later Thursday. With files from CBC.
So that's the end of that story. So Trudeau wants to punish big tech giants for basically for what people do on it. And I think we will have time for one more story. This one says, this is an opinion. Marnie Subkoff, veganism shouldn't be a human right, but on let's see. Veganism shouldn't be a human right. I agree. Let's see here. This is an opinion piece by Marnie Subkoff. This is a Canadian. This is definitely a Canadian article. Okay, here we go.
It's a quintessentially Canadian story. Link. A vegan firefighter has filed a complaint with the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal because he got stuck eating plain bagels from Tim Hortons while on the job battling wildfires in Williams Lake, BC. You are currently on a
Muffin? Are you serious? I can only eat plain bagels from Timmy's and I'm sad. Holy fuck, you whining vegan prick. Of course, that's all he knows how to do. Yeah. Humility is a virtue that is never signaled. Yeah, I know, right?
Will the tribunal declare that ethical veganism is a bona fide creed and the provision of abundant tofu burgers is a human right? Or will the tribunal side with the firefighter's employer, the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, and decide that failing to provide an employee meatless, eggless, dairy-free feast in an evacuation zone where fires are raging and police are helping operate the only functioning eatery for miles around is not a human rights violation? Play.
Exactly. You're in a fucking evacuation zone battling a wildfire, and your beef is, I have to eat plain bagels. Oh my god. Veganism equals removing the best tasting ingredients, says Sir Adamantine. Not wrong. Not wrong at all.
Care to wager? Once, betting on black beans being declared delicious yet not on par with, say, life or liberty would have seemed safe. Now, who knows? Play. I am an ethical vegan in that I not only follow a vegan diet, but I extend the philosophy of non-consumption of animal products to all other areas of my life, wrote the 40-year-old firefighter, Adam Knopf, in his application to the tribunal. I do not think that humans have the moral right to oppress other beings, or to cause them pain or suffering. Pause.
Oh god.
But when he was on deployment in BC, Knopf said he was not provided with any food that was vegan or not otherwise contaminated with animal products. He was therefore forced to go hungry.
No, you chose to go hungry. You knew it was not an ideal situation. It's not like you're getting it's not like this is a normal situation and they're just saying fuck you to your stupid decisions.
Pause.
Hey, UZQ. Hey, Skep. This is not like you're in a wildfire battling like to keep it from killing people. You guys are trying to evacuate and you're mad that you only get to eat plain bagels because everything else is quote unquote contaminated by animal product. Guess what, dude? Your ethical veganism can go fuck itself. It's not even a health thing. It's an ethics thing.
Which is not to say that Knopf didn't eat. His application is a veritable food diary of his time in Williams Lake, beginning with a day of salads and side dishes, continuing through a day of plain bagels and coffee from Tim's, followed by a day of beans, oatmeal and fruit. I'm not sure what Knopf said to the chef, but it involved curse words, as did the chef's reply. Semicolon. Link. I'm not sure. And then there was the much anticipated big barbecue featuring vegan burgers, an event which, Knopf wrote, turned out to be a giant letdown when he saw the chef touch the pseudo beef burgers with the same gloves that he'd used to touch the actual beef burgers.
Oh, Muffin, you poor thing.
Play.
Why are vegans nothing more than giant children? Seriously.
Pause.
That's all they are, is just giant children. I don't like my food being touched by other food. Yeah.
End of text. I'm not sure what Knopf said to the chef, but it involved curse words, as did the chef's reply. There is the feeling that Nuoff was not the most pleasant to be around. Nuoff reports complaining to a supervisor about not having enough protein on his plate. When the supervisor offered him protein bars in response, Nuoff says Nuoff declined the bars but took the opportunity to curse out the supervisor. Canadian press reports that when Nuoff was given another meal, a stir fry, that he deemed insufficient, he dumped it in front of food staff and said, repeatedly, "This isn't vegan."
Again, vegans are children. That's all there is to it. Vegans are children.
In the end, Knopf was sent home and suspended. The repetition of the "this isn't vegan" mantra in the face of the hapless food workers appears to have been the last straw, though whether Knopf threw non-vegan food at staff is contested.
His behavior deserved that he be sent home and suspended. That's just absolutely ridiculous. SJWs are crazy man children. Absolutely. Native name for vegan manhunter. Good God, the horror, says Cat Talk. Yeah, I know, right?
I'm an easygoing person, and I try to be patient, Knopf wrote on a GoFundMe page seeking donations for his legal costs. But apparently the severe lack of vegan food in base camp proved to be too much for him and, well, we all know what happened next.
I'm an easygoing guy and I try to be patient. Holy shit, that's insane. Oh, my orientation worker is here. Oh dear. That is not good.
See also.
So that's the end of that article. So, I need to go and let my worker in. I will be right back to end up the show. I just need to go and unlock the door for her. So I will be right back, you guys. I apologize. Don't go anywhere. Okay, guys, I'm back. So, sorry. So I'm just, while I'm here, I'm just going to, let's see what chat is saying. Let's see here. So how is everybody? Knicker, knicker, knicker. You shit disturber, irate. Oh. Vegans are the picky eater children George Carlin talked about in his 92 special. Yep. Roughly 1.5% of Americans are vegan. Oh gosh. So guys, I gonna have to end about 5 minutes early. So I do apologize for that. But I hope you enjoyed the stream today. And I do hope that you'll come and oh, before we do that, Minkalo says, I remember we had a vegan in the Navy. He asked for a vegan meal once. They gave him bread. Love that. So I do hope you enjoyed the stream today. Remember, tomorrow is the Friday guest day featuring Maddie from Mad Woman Media. So that's going to be a really fun stream. We're going to talk about some news, her main channel, and her Maddie's House of Geek channel. and just have a fun discussion. So I do hope you guys come and watch that. Remember, we're going to start up with Star Trek again on Saturday, talking about the way of the warrior at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 1 o'clock p.m. Central. And remember, come back for Blind in the Special Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Hope everyone has an amazing day. Enjoy the spring weather if it's not thunderstorming where you are. And see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.